All right. All right. So, we're back at it again. Yet another warm-up. This time around you will most definitely hear my daughter. Because it's me and her today. And she's over there. And I'm gonna need to run after her multiple times, I suspect. I'm guessing it's gonna be a lot of running back and forth. Hey Zillion, how's it going? How about some suggestions today? I'd love to draw something of your suggestion. Yesterday we did Roy Batty, aka Roy Batty, aka one of the most iconic character actors. I don't know. Is Rutger Hauer seen as a character actor? No, just a great actor, I guess. Or Roy Batty. Such a cool name. That world is so fascinating. Like the Blade Runner universe. Like we only see a glimpse of it. I haven't seen the second one. I'm kind of scared to watch it. Not to ruin the first movie. But I know I need to watch the second movie at some point. If I'm such a big Blade Runner fan. Hey, Dr. Sheldon. Purple Cannoneer. Is that topic number 1? Alright. And any suggestions? I'm all ears. Otherwise, we're gonna do Purple Cannoneer. I'm contemplating. I need to double check with the Mountain Troll. Nice. I need to double check with the studio, but I think we're gonna do half-day game or IP development at the studio on Fridays, half days, to kind of up our game a bit. And I'm wondering if I should stream that. So potentially there will be half-day Fridays. So a long stream, like a 4-hour stream, I guess, of more of a project-based stream. We'll see, but it would be cool if if that's okay with them. Hey, Frenchy, how's it going? Gria, what up? Hey, Miguel, how's it going? So topics today we have Purple Cannoneer and Mountain Troll. So if you have any other suggestions, I'm all ears. Otherwise, I will split the dice in two. Wait? What should I wait on? What? Purple Sailor. Alright, so we got Purple Sailor, Purple Cannoneer. Let's add purple to Mountain Troll. Purple Mountain Troll. It's a purple kind of day. Alien Dreadnought. That's pretty cool. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 topics. It's pretty cool. That's a pretty good offering. Yes, let's roll the dice. So now we're rolling 6. Okay, that's, we have 4. Let's roll again then. 2, which is Mountain Troll, but We're gonna make it purple mountain troll. Or mountain troll. Mountain troll lurker showed up. You're definitely gonna get your purple day. Okay. Right, so we have mountain troll and gonna in parentheses purple. Let's go. So purple mountain troll. Okay. Let's try it straight to color. No sketching. Wow, that is absolutely not the right purple that I wanted. But it's okay. Yeah, so like I was saying, potentially I might change up Fridays to be a 4-hour stream, and might be working on an IP on the stream. Like I said, we were discussing of having half-day IP development at the studio to help boost creativity, boost skill set, and like cap some holes. So potentially I might do that. I just need to check with the Mr. Bossman. If that would be the case, then we're gonna be having every Friday gonna have 4-hour stream, which would be great. Which would be a fun little it's a fun change of routine. A longer stream as well, probably better. So the idea at the studio, why we want to do that, is just to branch out in skill sets, you know. So I started doing a little bit of that, like project art direction this morning. And I think I know what I will be doing on these half days, kind of project days. It's going to be a indie game. I'm gonna need some people in order for me to be able to finish that game, though. So step one would be verify with the boss man that we are indeed doing half-day project on Fridays. Step two, get a crew together. Sounds like some sort of what's it called? The bank or the casino heist movie, Ocean's 12. Yeah. No, but it's important. It's important to have people with expertise that's different from yours. I mean, you could do it yourself, but it would take significantly longer. It would be significantly harder. So generally, I always think get a team together of one person in each category, like programming, 3D or animation, art, or like 3D/tech, is always useful, you know. My daughter was watching a nature show. Nick Fury? I don't know who Nick Fury is. Or I might know. Oh. Marvel character. I thought you meant this, what's his name? Nick Carter? He does his own in the game. But yeah, I might know the guy. Hilarious. I might know the Marvel guy. Yeah, like I said, a team of skilled artists or skilled people is always smoother ride. Fernandez, yeah, I got that. I got it when I looked up who Nick Fury was. But yeah, it was just funny. I said, "Oh, I might know him." Clearly, how can I know a comic character? And that just shows you how kind of aware I am, how bad I am with names. But yeah, so that might be a big change to the stream on Fridays. I think it would be great as well. So, like I said, I will double check with the man in charge, but it might be a cool community project as well if there's anyone with expertise in, let's say, animation or 3D or programming. You know, I think that will be a cool thing to work together with. You know, get things done, and when it's sold, just split the revenue. Good easy money. Famous last words. No, but I mean, indie games done right can actually be quite successful. I did that indie game. It took way too long than it should have taken because it was my first indie game and somewhat of a passion project. So I took unnecessary. I took it into unnecessary directions in terms of workload because I wanted it to be unique, and it was unnecessarily unique in that sense of like bespoke art for it. I think we could have gotten away with a lot less work with a more or less the same result. So that's something I'm definitely gonna be aware of the next project I do. Is it like prep it and try to make it as streamlined and work light as possible. Goat Simulator. Yeah, man. That is such a mysterious thing. But it just shows how well it can go randomly. But usually, like, this is my viewpoint, right? This might sound a bit cocky, but if there is a person who makes a game, there's a small team, they're okay artists, the project will not sell well comparatively to the same kind of team setup, but with higher skill level, quality-wise, obviously. But um, the reason is that there is so many mediocre games that when you do something, it gets swallowed up immediately, and the only way to stand out is either gameplay, visuals. Those are the like two things that can only make you stand out, and gameplay is always secondary to visuals. So if like the visuals are mediocre, the gameplay is great, it will sell differently than a great visuals and mediocre gameplay, because the gameplay, a lot of people accept shitty gameplay way more than shitty visuals, because visuals are the things you always look at, right? Rather than, you don't always I mean, you're always face to face with gameplay, but gameplay is the thing that keeps you going back to the game, like the longevity of the game, the challenge of the game, right? Rather than impression. Visuals are always the impression. So, like, if you have good visuals, you can get away with way more. 1 second. I am. You. All right, I'm back. It's going to be a little bit, actually, ASMR microphone. Yeah, so I mean, we managed to, when we made our indie game, we managed to be on the front page of iOS store for all major markets. We were on majority of game sites. We had reviews. We sold really well. Unfortunately, there was a bad combination of events that kind of hindered our sales, and the game in the end stopped being a hit. There was like a compound unfortunate events that occurred that stopped us from keep on making money on that game. But the whole idea was set up to kind of make money, and it started really well. But like I said, it was an unfortunate series of events that stopped us. But what I was saying is, what I meant was that visuals took the game really far, and that became the standout thing, right? And it's not an easy thing to do, to come up with strong visuals. So that's why, for example, like again, a team of good artists or a team of good people will always make something that has more traction than a team of mediocre artists. I mean, that's obviously, that's clearly. Matilda, nej, said it. Nej. Hey, Lurib, Zutin, welcome back. Fernandez, developing IPs for TV like Love, Death, Robots. It is, I mean, yes, it's different. Obviously, it's a game versus something to watch. But instead of gameplay, it's story, right? It's the beats. It's how you enjoy the ride, and visuals of that ride obviously is first impression. So it is the same. It's the same principle, same but different, right? Uh, and that's why, for example, people hire great people with great skills, because yeah, you'll pay more, but in the end, you'll have something that's structured correctly, uh, and you limit the pitfalls um, of certain things. And I think that's a big difference between a great artist and a great artist with experience, for example. It becomes very obvious when someone just has a great skill set and small experience. Is what's quite obvious at that point are their limitation in understanding, how to say it. Mm. I mean, like, a skilled artist and an experienced artist will understand what works and doesn't work, what by experience, by being exposed to a lot of projects and a lot of meetings and a lot of feedback. You kind of learn like the hooks of what people like, right? Like, if you constantly hear on feedback like better face, more expression, uh, better pose, whatever, those kind of things, then you realize, oh, why is that? Is it just because they have that set standard of what they like to see, or is there a reason behind, for example, the art director pushing for more character? So, for example, you let's say you make a new TV show like Love, Death, Robots, right? I haven't seen it, but it's a series of short movies, right? So each short movie has its own flavor, um, and you need to hire someone that will populate that world for you, right? So it's attractive, it looks good. So they hire good artists, um, but they still have a gatekeeper, the art director, and the art director is usually, I mean, ideally, in the position of an art director because they have the best experience, they have a good understanding of what is required, what those checkboxes are that is attractive for a project. But in my experience working with a lot of art directors, um, that's not usually the case. A lot of art directors, um, in nowadays, there's a lot of art directors that want the label art director because that's some sort of accomplishment, so they can say, "Oh, I'm an art director at this studio." Oh, wow, you must be fantastic. You know, and that's the flaw in the whole idea of because yeah, you're art director. Yeah, you accepted the challenge of being the funnel, being the captain of the ship, right? But you're not might not necessarily be the right person for the job in terms of skill set. But maybe that this company don't have a better person for the art direction. So it's a little bit like damned if you do, damned if you don't. Um, but it shows so many times when an art director knows what they're doing, understands what sells, understand what a good design is versus a bad design, cohesive cohesive co, co, cohesive details in style. You know, like for example, I worked with a great art director, and I've worked with many, but this guy in particular, he had created like a art bible, right? The art bible is the do's and don'ts of the project, more or less. So, for as an example, uh, like let's take World of Warcraft. They have a very extensive art bible because for them the style is very specific, very very formulated because there's usually a huge team and a lot of artists that wants to work on it, so they need to be able to communicate that idea to other artists, right? And we all, as an artist, we all do that adaptation regardless, but they have an art bible so that they can easily reference where you're making a mistake. You know, as an example, Matilda, 1 second, I need to mute my. She's walking around. Yeah, so they can reference like, oh, you're doing the shapes wrong. Look at page 5 or 35. This is how we want you to treat metal. Like you're making the metal too realistic. We want it to be this tone of blue and these details and blah 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 blah. You know. So this art director that I work with, he had made an art bible, and it was really clear, clean, and it was there was no confusion in what you had to do, so you could easily like look at his art bible as you were making the concepts and go, oh, okay, it's the wrong tone of gunmetal, you know, or proportions are off, or so it's really really good. And I said we all do that anyways, maybe subconsciously or consciously. When we do mood boards, we gather references, and that's why it's important to send the references to the client as you're designing something, so that it can go, oh yeah, I agree with these choices in reference. This one you have is off target or whatever, and it's really good to do that because then you'll learn the language of the client, and the client learns what you are thinking and how you are thinking, and they can stop you from making a mistake well before you've made it by just being clear about intentions. Fernandez, there is a lot of those. They're called different things. Uh, some like to have fancy names for it, but the general name for it is art bible. but it could be called visual guide, art direction, all these things, right? But it's fundamentally it's the same thing. It's a visual guide, right? Of do's and don'ts, and it's also references. You know, when you get a brief, they say, "Oh, I want you to do a demon. Here's some cool-looking demons." And that is already art direction, right? That is already a style guide. When they're saying, "These are the demons I want you to have for reference." And some clients are very specific, especially if they already have an established world where people are familiar with the universe. You can't do something against the universe because fans will pinpoint that, and it'll be harder to pass it. You know, community will always react to something wrong. Like a good example is like Zelda universe. I haven't worked on the Zelda universe. I've done fan art, but I know all Zelda fans know that Link, the main character, is left-handed. So if you draw Link with the sword in the right hand, each fan will be like, "Oh, blasphemy! How dare you! Link is left-handed." and then just by that little fact, people will react. You know, so even more so when you're doing something for a large IP, let's say Star Wars, you have to really like go through if there's any specifics, you need to make sure that they are there. So yeah, when you start a project and you art direct a project, the best is always to make a style guide. Miguel, yeah, be wary of art directors that don't do style guides or art bibles. You have to consider, why don't you want to do that? Another reason why they are really important is because it communicates the idea beyond the artist. You know, as artists, we can always extrapolate and go, yeah, I can see the end goal here, but that's because we live, breathe, and think art, right? But Mr. Businessman 57, he's far away from it. Like the producer also usually is like, they have no idea. They need to see it to understand it. And always also bigger projects, bigger studios have a lot more opinions, and everyone wants to save their job, right? So everyone needs to be able to say, "Oh, I had the opinion into the game, so I matter." And it doesn't matter if the idea itself is good. What matters is that they've saved their job, and they can in the end go and prove their worth by saying, this in this game, that was my idea. And it doesn't matter if it's good or bad, you know. But yeah, so the art bible or style guide is that you can show people that are not artists, going, okay, here you see, this is the general visual style we're going for. These are the shapes we're thinking of using, expressive or realistic. Texture information is realistic or pushed or stylized or non-existent. We are going to use shaders, or you know, all these things. You can show them, look, this is what we're going to do for 2 years now or 3 years. So they can go, oh, okay. And then you start populating the world based on those parameters and saying, look, this is where the goal was, right? This is the general direction. Here is our content based on those art principles. And then the art director has to go, each asset that's being submitted as an artist, like you're sending your art to the art director, they themselves have to go through the art bible and go, are they following the shapes? Are they following the texture treatments? Is the pose strong enough? You know, if posing is a major part. Labetili said it. Ne. French, yeah. That's also another thing. Like I said, a lot of people wants to be art director because of the honor, not so much because they have a great skill set. And usually you can spot these people because they're it's obvious fast that they have no idea what they're talking about. In a lot of cases you have to step in if you're a more experienced artist, but give them, you have to, a lot of the times if you're a freelancer and you're working with an art director that is not a good art director, you should always give them the option to save their face. And you just have to take over a little bit more, taking art director choices, stylistic decisions, and you kind of in reverse filter what they need, and then you give it to them so that they can go, yep, that one or that one. And then they don't need to say, fix this, fix that, because maybe they can't see it. But it requires you as well then in that case to be that experienced so that you can push that, because otherwise it's gonna be a cluster F. Fubar. So that's interesting, and that's possibly I'll check with my boss, but coming next Friday potentially we will do half day game development, where I will be going through those kind of things and talking about indie game dev stuff. Oh really, Fernandez? Oh, great, glad you like it. A little bit of glimpse in how things work, I guess, rather than just art. Fernandez, that's good. Yeah, it is different. I mean, when you are an art director, and you want to be a good art director, these are the things that you have to kind of consider, rather than just assume people will figure it out. Because there are those art directors as well. They just go, "Why aren't you doing what I need you to do?" and you get just rejection rather than direction. So they go like, "No, draw a new one." Like, "Nope, this is not good enough," or "Nope, this doesn't hit the mark." Then you, in the end, you'll go, "But what? Why am I not?" And then they go, oh, "You see this picture? I like this picture." And then you go, "But I can't draw that picture because it's not ours." And as an artist, then being exposed to bad art directors, that you have to, like I said, art direct yourself and figure out what do they like, what don't they like. Is if the art director can't do that because of inexperience or inability to formulate. Jeff Hansen, rejection, yeah. All right, let's find someone to raid. Sozomaika? Tits? Let's read Sozomaika. Jeff Hansen. Well, thank you. Hopefully it was somewhat coherent while running after my daughter. Um, Anyways, have a great weekend, everyone. Have a great day. Good night for that part of the world. I will most likely stream over the weekend. We will see. But yeah, have a good one. And thanks for the topic, Dr. Sheldon. Um, yeah, bye, everyone. Outro time, and after the outro, I'll take you to the raid, so don't go anywhere. Have a good one. Bye.